FHS season tickets.
Welcome into another episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Michael.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're going to start off talking about the Fairview sports. First thing we're going to talk about, the swimming team. The girls team got a win over Crestwood in their last meet, while the boys suffered a tough defeat. A lot of people were injured and also sick, so it was a good battle by both teams. Nick, what happened in the basketball games?
Well, the boys, they beat Brookside, JV, and varsity. They have no freshman team. And one thing I would like to know for Brookside, a huge building upgrade from when we went freshman year. I remember the lockers were terrible freshman year, and the gym wasn't that great, but their building is really nice. But for varsity and JV, both wins. Varsity won by
25.
JV won by 14, 15. Yeah. I think it was actually 16. So
two pretty easy wins.
Yeah, two pretty easy wins. One weird thing was in varsity, the other team, Brookside, was fouling in the last 2 minutes, even though you were up 25. So it's pretty weird. It got a lot of people mad, just wanting to end the game, go home, just accept the loss, really. But other than that, two good wins for the boys program. But one huge landscaping change win for the girls, really good win, was against Lake Ridge Academy, ranked, I think, 15th in the state.
In the Cleveland.com region
poll. Was it Cleveland.com region poll? All right. Well, 15th in the region poll. Nonetheless, they were a super good team, heavily favored against our 3-8 Warriors, Lady Warriors.
Previously, yep.
And then now they're 4-8, and a big win. Great win by really landscaping changing win for their whole entire season. That's going to be something they can talk about, even though they're in a losing season right now. Hopefully they can get to 500.
Yeah, that was probably the toughest opponent they'll play all season. Got a win in overtime on the road. Good stuff from them. Also, the wrestling, they have a home meet on Thursday, which probably will be the day that this video does come out. So make sure you go support. It's going to be at home. I do believe it starts at 4 or 5. So make sure you guys go support the wrestling team. And now we're going to get into college football. The College Football National Championship did happen. Clemson did beat Alabama on a last-second play. Nick, what were your thoughts about the game?
Predicted it. Our co-host Christian Peplin, he did predict this. Wow, me, Matt Medley, and Michael Roth
took it out.
Did predict Alabama, which, again, Alabama's defense played decently well. I mean, they were up 2 scores without any passing offense. Yeah, they were up 2 scores going into the fourth quarter without any passing offense that you heard of. A huge game by Bo Scarborough. But, again, Clemson, I got to give it up to them. I was wrong about this Clemson team for this. This season I felt they were underperforming, but they ended up getting it done. 14-1 is a historically great season for a great Clemson Tiger team. But it was another part 2 against these teams, and it was another legendary game, classic national championship game. And I thought that Clemson did, in the end, got it out. Those seniors really did good. I think this is a start of great seasons to come for Clemson. I don't think it stops here with Deshaun Watson and those good seniors leaving. But again, Alabama shouldn't be too sad on themselves. I'm sure all the rest of the country, though, is happy, though, because I think everyone except half of Alabama and everyone in Tuscaloosa was rooting for the Clemson Tigers.
Alabama has 80% of that state. I think the only state.
Auburn? You think Auburn only has 20%?
I think the city of Auburn, Alabama, is the only city in Alabama that has more Auburn fans than Alabama fans.
I mean, maybe those are bandwagon fans, but if Auburn started
doing good,
Vandy Alabama
versus Tennessee.
Because Auburn, I feel like maybe has the history on their side a little bit more, especially in that state.
I think it's Vandy, Tennessee. The only city in Tennessee where Vandy has more fans than Tennessee is Nashville.
We don't have to bring in a Vanderbilt talk.
Well, think about the difference.
Auburn, Alabama is not Vanderbilt, Tennessee. No, it's not.
Auburn is to Alabama what Vandy is to Tennessee.
Auburn is historically as great, maybe better than Alabama.
Yeah, but there are a lot of bandwagon fans and young fans that don't really care about that.
I'm saying bandwagon fans, but trust me, if Auburn was good,
It'd be the other way around. If Auburn was winning national titles, Auburn would have 80% of the fans.
was as good as Tennessee, and Tennessee was as bad as Vanderbilt, there would still be more Tennessee fans. It's fact.
Ooh.
That's fact. If Vanderbilt was 9-4, they have been, and there were more Tennessee Volunteer fans.
Hey man, if you're 9-4 for like 5 years in a row,
no,
you'll eventually get some bandwagons.
No, I mean eventually, but you won't get more Tennessee Volunteer fans. I'm telling you, Auburn, it's half and half. Okay. I think in that state.
Yeah, but now
we would have to take a visit.
Yeah, season tickets goes to Alabama to see who's an Auburn or Alabama fan. But yeah, the game was really crazy. Clemson deserved it in the end. Deshaun Watson, 2 clutch drives, proving once again that he is one of the best college football players in the nation this year. 2 all-time historic performances in the national championship game by him against Alabama defenses in back-to-back years that were loaded with some great players and had some great team stats. And it was just a national championship game for the ages, something that will go down in history. And that Clemson using 2 pick plays, I love it. Like, just 2 touchdowns by Clemson were scored on
back then,
pick plays. Nick has some bad memories on pick plays, but we'll not get into that. Florida State Notre Dame game, a little bit irrelevant right now. Yeah, but yeah, those pick plays, I really like them. It was just a really fun game to watch, even though it did last 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I definitely did not watch all of that game. I definitely was not staying up that late. I basically knew the story going into it. If Clemson would win, I knew it would be a dominant showing by Alabama. No passing offense whatsoever. A rushing defense if it was a close game, and Clemson pulling out at the end, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and now the next thing we're going to get into, the NBA. Kyle Korver recently did get traded to the Cavs. Nick, what's your first thoughts about this?
Great trade, really, for the Cavs. I think David Griffin working his magic again. I can't wait to see what happens at the trade deadline, our full team. But Korver did play on Tuesday night.
Played bad, but that's okay.
I don't know if it was bad. I mean,
it was bad.
No. Mike, did you watch the game?
I didn't.
Mike, all right. Here's some words. I watched the game last night. Korver gets guarded super tight, which opens lanes for guys like Kay Felder to finish in the lane. Exactly, Kay Felder.
Boy.
Imagine LeBron and Kyrie finishing in the lane, spacing the floor like that. They'll have to come out on Korver a little bit. Then he's going to start knocking down those shots that you're accustomed to seeing for Atlanta. And he's taller than you would think, faster than you would think, especially coming off those screens. And he's a little bit better on defense, especially team-developed defense. He's got a helper, so I think that this is a great pickup, especially for his marksman and likability. I'm not sure how it changes the Warriors versus Cavs showdown. I think if Korver can get back to maybe 2014, 2015 level, then you're looking at a huge upgrade. And I also think we really need front court depth or backup point guard for sure. Darren Williams, I think, is already on the team, honestly. And then Nerlens Noel.
Calderon.
I would really like to see Nerlens Noel on the team.
Yeah, just great trade by the Cavs. Anyone who thinks that Kyle Korver isn't an upgrade over Mike Dunleavy, I'm sorry, but you're just plain wrong at this point. Like, Kyle Korver is a much better overall player. Like, it's not even close. You can do so many things that Mike Dunleavy can't do, and also the one thing that Mike Dunleavy does well, which is shoot. Korver does better. So, just fantastic trade by the Cavs.
No, but
getting him.
Thinking about Darren Williams, thinking about it, like, they could just absorb that in Anderson Varejao. You got your backup point guard there. Nerlens Noel on the team, front court. I mean,
they could be stacked.
I'm telling you, that would be a really good lineup.
Also, the Hawks decided not to trade Paul Millsap. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think a contender could have used him and he would have changed them?
Oh, for sure a contender could have used him. I mean, him on Toronto would have looked really great. But I also think that for Atlanta, I don't really know where you're at right now. Like, are you trying to remain competitive? Do you think Korver really was? Like, are you just trying to be a annual 5th, 6th seed in the playoffs until you get young talent and then you can trade Millsap? I don't really know what you're doing. I feel like in the NBA, my opinions at least, you either have to be really good championship contender or just be really bad and just get a bunch of prospects so you can eventually be really good. That's what happened to Cleveland. Historically awful until LeBron came back. Again, that's a different story, but still. Then we had Kyrie to supplement him and prospects to trade for Kevin Love. So I think you either want to be really bad in the NBA or really good in the NBA.
A major market does change that. So like if you're the Knicks, you're gonna be able to lure in free agents even with an above average roster.
Name one free agent Actually,
it hasn't worked out with Carmelo
altered
Anthony
the program.
because he's a bad
Alter the
building
program.
block.
Name one in the history of the NBA. That's always what people say about the Knicks. No, they haven't been able to do it, honestly. LA has been able to do it. Knicks,
Atlanta's not a major
Ewing
market.
was drafted. Still didn't even win a championship there. And then you got New York. New York, Lurden, Carmelo didn't change anything in a not healthy Amari.
But in a smaller market, you're not going to be able to get any free agents unless you have a stacked roster. And the reason you get a stacked roster,
like LeBron.
Yeah, or a hometown, because everybody's going back to their hometown. Yeah. Damian Lillard to the Warriors in free agency. Hometown. Watch out. But yeah, that was the joke. Lillard tweet out everybody going back to their hometown now after somebody else went. That's not going to be me. But the only way you can really get a stacked team if you're a small market is drafting well. And that's really what you need to do. It's a lot easier to draft well. At the top of the draft, I really think that the NBA is the top league for their top draft picks actually working out. I think a decent amount more than NFL top draft picks, I think, make an impact. And obviously a lot more than MLB draft picks. NBA top 5 draft picks usually work out. And especially this year, a loaded draft class could definitely change some franchises. Next thing we're going to talk about, college basketball. Final thing we're going to talk about today. Really the only thing we are talking about right now in college basketball is Duke, and more importantly, Grayson Allen. He shoved a coach as diving for a loose ball, and he could have fallen. He could have fallen into him, and instead he kind of moved his arm. But I think the bigger story, how bad Duke has been playing, and more importantly, Grayson Allen, because he has not been impressive at all this year. I definitely think he made a mistake by coming back to Duke. He could have been a late first-round draft pick, and now he's really hurt his stock with the bad reputation that he has gotten being a very dirty player. I think he'll still be drafted, but he has a bad reputation for being a dirty player. We've seen a couple of trips, 3 trips now, and potentially a 4th, and then that shove right there. See Grayson Allen being a little bit of a crybaby, you could say, being soft, a dirty player, and also not playing well. Only guy really living up to expectations has been Luke Kennard for Duke Blue Devils team.
Well,
that was
Tatum
expected
coming back
to be
off
number
that
1.
injury, but I think Tatum was living up to expectations so far. Harry Giles tough getting on the court. I think he's going to have to stay another year to really get that knee rehab and show the NBA what he can do. But in regards to Grayson Allen, being a basketball player, I know that was not how you fall in. He wasn't even falling in the direction of the coach. He was falling with his side, momentum going past the bench, and then for a reason I don't even know why, maybe he just saw the opportunity.
I mean, they were down 14.
He extends his arms and just pushes the coach. Coach falls over. It was even a bad fall, which is a really bad look for Grayson Allen. I think that he's going to just get this mounting pressure on him. A lot of people are going to be eyeing him. I feel like he's just addicted to doing these type of things on the court, to just any type of upper hand he can get. I guess that's what his mind is going through. But I really think another suspension's in the future. And I think that I don't even know if he can get drafted if he affords another suspension. I don't know how many NBA teams are going to take a risk on that.
Now, the interesting thing about this topic is the Florida State coach actually defended Grayson Allen. We can't know how legitimate that would be, but according to his words, he didn't think that Grayson Allen shoved him. He said, he thought that he didn't say that Grayson Allen didn't shove him, but he said that the reason he fell was because his body went into him. I clearly saw Grayson push his arms over, and it's just been bad for Grayson Allen, bad for Duke this year, having a couple bad losses. They were expected to be clearly the number 1 team in the country. Injuries haven't let that happen, and also some poor play from some guys, and also not true point guard on the roster right now. So Duke had more question marks than maybe we initially thought at the start of the season, and with this looming over without Coach K either, maybe another suspension. If it happens one more time, I definitely think maybe you need another 1 or 2 game suspension. I think it would mean a lot more, especially in ACC play, than the suspension did. I don't even know who he was suspended against, but I know it wasn't a major profile team, so if it happens again, maybe you need to make some more drastic changes. But at this point, I think it's nothing more than Grayson just being really soft and making some very poor decisions on the basketball court, being a little bit of a weak crybaby, I would say.
Yeah. Other news in the world of basketball: Villanova fell. Now we have Baylor. Is Baylor still number 1? Did they lose?
They lost.
They lost. Okay, so Kentucky beating Vanderbilt. It's unclear who the number 1's gonna be.
Big win for Kentucky. That Vanderbilt team, they can
Luke
play.
Luke Cornett went off for 16. I saw. I mean, good for him.
16.
Oh,
Get him in the NBA right now, boys.
Yeah, Mike's really down on his Vanderbilt basketball team.
Because they can't defend.
Yeah, but it's all right. My Kentucky Wildcats, Big Blue Nation, gave Vanderbilt Commodores a little loss there. Had to put them into place, and
Okay,
we'll have to wait till maybe next time, buddy.
That's enough of the Vandy hate, and let's just wrap up the episode right now